My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Leos. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. I'm going to be doing your general reading of your past, present, future, and 9 card spread for this week. But before I do that, I want to thank you all so much for attending the October 31st. I really loved having you guys there, even though it was on a virtual note. But I really, admire and love and we're really going to love your care and support towards my channel, including myself, and even for attending that big event and stuff like that. We're probably going to continue on every, year with a different anything, to honor our beautiful, loved ones in this world on October 31st. And of course, it's like for any, well, for my upcoming birthday and stuff like that, even though we're not quite there yet. But other than that, I want to again thank you so much for your love, support, and devotion towards my channel. You guys are wonderful humans. I love my beautiful felines, and again, well, thank you again. But anyway, we'll get started with your general reading because I'm going to be using a regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and finish off with 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started with your reading for today. So you start off, the general reading, sorry about that, is the Ace of Wands, the Page of Wands reversed. So sorry again, I just keep, I don't know why, maybe it's, other than that. But anyway, so that's the general thought, is maybe you don't feel incredibly prepared or confident to end out into this world, or maybe, you're just kind of holding back on something. But anyway, we'll look at the first row, which is also your past. You start off with 10 of Cups reversed, 6 of Swords, and then 4 of Wands. Okay, so I just pretty much, saw you actually choosing, a different course. Maybe, something just wasn't working out for you. Maybe, it's like you didn't get the happy home, happy earth, happy family, or abundance that you were hoping to achieve, or any kind of confidence in the past. So you decided to just head out towards, the 4 of Wands, in other ways as well, which I think is sometimes a very beautiful step to take, because sometimes, it's very good to actually see movement and actually knowing that there's something moving, rather than that you're just stuck in a metaphorical traffic jam where there's no way to escape, the situation, and you just feel like you're stuck and you're not moving and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's like, but of course, this took place in the past, so hopefully it's not resonating for you in current times, for that matter. But yeah, it's not really, nice to get such a beautiful card in reverse. But of course, we always have to look at the clarification part, for that matter, just to see, hey, well, what actually happened there and stuff. But anyway, in current times, Ace of Cups reversed, 9 of Swords, and 4 of Swords. Okay, so what I'm kind of getting here is either, the 4 of Wands is pretty much the end result, whereas, you pretty much just think, I don't need to be accepting or embracing any more new offerings, so maybe in current times you don't need to be embracing any more offerings and stuff like that. But yet this could also be, not getting any kind of offerings, aside from relocating to the 4 of Wands and stuff like that, and it's putting you in a sense of feeling, scared, nightmarish and stuff like that, or you feel like, that the decision you made was a real giant nightmare in other ways. So, well, you're pretty much going to have to rest up and recover from this whole transition or decision of yours, stuff like that, because I feel like that maybe if you actually change course and stuff like that, and that you might end up in a sense of regret. It looked incredibly beautiful, because the 4 of Wands is definitely happy home, happy earth, happy family, and abundance and confidence. However, the thing is, it's like if that was actually, just a quick fix idea where you pretty much just thought, I'm actually not getting anything out of it, and I feel like I actually, made this real big, wrong turn and stuff like that in my life. And so now you're going to try to get out of this nightmare situation with the 4 of Swords. Because in the future, you do get the Hermit, Virgo, which comes after you, doing introspection. You're trying to keep yourself as balanced as possible. And yet, you get the Page of Pentacles upright, meaning, either, you're not going to be getting any kind of financial support. Maybe this is kind of like, you're trying out different venues and stuff like that. But you're also trying to kind of realize why it wasn't working out for you and stuff like that, why you felt like you had to change or maybe relocate or maybe change careers or jobs, what have you, in other ways. Because in the end, it's like it could definitely be a very beautiful silver lining where you don't have to do anything at all. And here's, where you just don't need to go out on the job hunt in other ways. But anyway, I want to look at the clarification because I'm kind of a little bit worried about if any kind of choices or decisions that you may have made in the past could definitely have caused any kind of like negative, current times for that matter. Because for the Ten of Cups reverse, you do get the Prince of Skulls. So, it's like maybe, it's like you suffered from lack of confidence, maybe lack of abundance, or maybe no happy home, happy earth, happy family for that matter, because you were waiting for something better, or maybe this was like you experiencing a negative situation and you just had patience to think, okay, my current life is just really not as good as I had hoped it to be and stuff like that, but we're going to be patient for the opportunity to come and save us. So you're kind of waiting for the Knight of Pentacles to come by to allow you to join him or her on horseback in other ways as well. So, okay. I mean, sometimes, either way, the cards can give out different ideas too. So, here you are pretty much taking off, choosing a different, voyage and stuff like that. You're pretty much just thinking, because you get Chariot, one of your beautiful neighboring cards, Cancer. Maybe you have Cancer placements in other ways. But what I see here is that, it's like you're going to take off, and you have so much passion, you have so much motivation and inspiration within you to say, okay, we're going to head out towards this one direction in other ways as well. So I feel like, okay, sometimes patience is key, and that you're pretty much just thinking, okay, now it's time to actually, we'll board this ship of opportunity, because here it's like you were waiting at the metaphorical docks for the ship to come in. So here you're pretty much just now taking off. Okay. As for happy home, happy earth, happy family, and abundance, speaking of abundance, you get fortune. Wheel of Fortune. Even if it took place in the past, hopefully it's still resonating in current times, and maybe that's why you don't need to be embracing any Ace of Cups moments in current times for that matter. And this is also one of your beautiful cards because it's a fixed card, like you are a fixed sign, next to Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. And you, of course. But anyway, here you're pretty much embracing this wonderful, beautiful Wheel of Fortune. So, fabulous, fabulous, and fabulous. Okay. So, for the Ace of Cups reverse, maybe a missed opportunity, not getting any kind of abundance in current times, because you get hit with the Three of Swords, one of the... Yikes. Okay, this is kind of a bit of a glitchy situation. What's going on here? Because why could you potentially be experiencing heartbreak in current times? What's happening to my beautiful felines? Because the heart is one of your main, Leo traits. You guys practically rule the heart, and suddenly it just gets stabbed with 3 swords. Okay. This could be like an unforeseen event that could be taking place, something that you really have to be so self-loving, self-caring, and take excellent good care of yourself in other ways. But I just wonder why you could potentially be hit with the 3 of Swords. Is it because you feel heartbroken because, it's like, that this might be the end of everything and that you're not going to be getting any more? Because with the 9 of Swords of actually facing... potential, nightmares, in other ways, you do get judgments, and so there's going to be a reason why, you could only be receiving a certain amount of the Wheel of Fortune, and then the abundance is gone, and maybe that's where you're finally coming to terms of thinking, okay, it's like we don't like this because we want to have more, we want to actually be able to actually bask, we want to be able to actually do something, we want to actually receive more for everything that we've done, and then suddenly you only get maybe so much acknowledgement, so much, financial support, maybe, so much from anything. And so it's putting you in a sense of thinking, oh goodness, it's all just game over from here. But there's definitely this grand announcement and a sense of clarity, that's attached to why it's like, why it puts you in a sense of feeling heartbroken and nightmares. But of course, there's probably a silver lining that'll pretty much show afterwards. Because here you're going to be resting up and recovering from that whole Three of Swords moment, because you get the Eight of Wands. So maybe, it's like this is where you're either going to be changing direction. Maybe, you just have to sleep on it. Maybe it's not as bad as it may seem in other ways as well. But here it's pretty much that you're going to be resting up and that you're going to be going out on this voyage. Maybe actually have to switch careers. Maybe actually have to relocate to a different country, city, or state, because whatever you were currently doing, only, gave you so many, benefits, but then in order to get more, you're going to have to also change and maybe travel or relocate with the Eight of Wands. Because here you are with the Hermit and doing introspection, and you have options with the Two of Swords. So this is a very important moment and mindset to have in the future, because the thing is you're going to have to make this big decision. If you want to actually keep up that momentum of the Wheel of Fortune and not only just leave it in the past, stuff like that, and in current times you're not getting anything, what do you personally want to do, and how are you going to go about it in other ways as well? So I feel like that today's reading is mostly just kind of based off of, how, you're pretty much, in this situation where you actually got a very beautiful sense of acknowledgement, especially with Scorpio, which is a beautiful, grand announcement taking place. But in the future, you're going to have to decide what you truly want. Do you want to give more, and how are you going to go about it? Do you have to maybe, get out of your comfort zone? Because the General card is definitely not feeling prepared or not getting out enough and stuff like that. So maybe you're going to actually have to relocate. Maybe you're going to have to actually go out more instead of just thinking, okay, I'm just going to be, in my own personal comfort in other ways as well. Because with Justice, okay, you get Judgment and Justice, you'll feel balanced, and then you're pretty much going to be resting up. So maybe, pretty soon you'll know exactly which direction you're going to be heading towards in other ways. Because the thing is this is pretty much, where you're pretty much just kind of, giving your sense of clarity and balance of thinking, okay, we know exactly which direction we're going to be choosing and stuff like that. We're okay with it, so let's just kind of try to rest up again as much as possible, because I feel like that, you guys are like, metaphorical nocturnal animals like the lions and lionesses are. And, you notice how a lot of, lions, they sleep a lot and stuff like that, because if you're a predator of the night, if you're a night creature, stuff like that, you sleep a lot. It's like how a lot of cats sleep a lot during the day and stuff like that. Lions sleep a lot as well. So I feel like that you guys just really need your sleep a lot. And it's really good, will benefit, for your health in other ways as well. But here you're finally in a balance, and now you're able to kind of rest up and sleep, in the future. Because even though you might not get what you want and dream regarding any kind of finances in the future, I love the fact that you guys just don't give up with the Nine of Wands. So I feel like that this is kind of like a bit of a, it seems kind of like a silver linings kind of like positive reading, because it just looked incredibly beautiful at the start, but yet it somehow kind of, just kind of turned a little bit, differently in current times, stuff like that. So now you're pretty much in the process of thinking, okay, it's like, as long as we don't give up, we'll get what we want to dream, wish, and desire. But the fact is maybe you'll have to actually get out more and leave your comfort, or maybe actually have to prepare better for the future and stuff like that. So then you can actually, get, the Wheel of Fortune again, or more times in the future as well. So, wow. Because Special Vampire card does say, Five of Swords, you're going to be winning some kind of battle in other ways, which I think is so remarkable in many ways. And I just feel like, that I know a lot of Leos, they love to be the center of the, the spotlight and stuff like that, which of course you should always claim, because you are the Leos, you're the leaders, you're the practically, so many humans, they're just drawn towards you. I love Leos personally. But here it is that you're definitely going to be overcoming some kind of battle. Because here I see you actually getting out of your comfort. You're going to be overcoming obstacles, because I want to actually include Oracle, the Call of the Night, daring, adventure, and excitement. So what I see here is maybe, even though you may be a Leo and stuff like that, you could still, will have this sense of thinking, I love my, personal alone time. I love to be alone. I'm not really outgoing. I'm more of an introvert in other ways as well. But if you actually win this battle of actually overcoming, your own self-doubts, obstacles, and lack of faith and stuff like that, then this card is there to actually inspire, motivate you to actually seek adventure out in this world, and just think, okay, let's try to be, bold, daring, and excited about the future. because you know, if you'll have to get out of your comfort zone, then this is what's waiting for you. You're going to have a sense of, you know, bold and strength within you in the future as well. So wow. Okay, well, I'm going to have to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause and think about the questions you want answered. For number 1, you get a yes with the 2 of wands. Another yes with the Knight of Cups for number 2. And then you actually get a no with the 4 of Pentacles reversed. So you get 2 yeses and 1 no. But I find this a very remarkable, you know, combination, even though this is just based off of yes and no. It's like, you know, you're being, you know, presented with this offering, and you're also getting out and being adventurous as well. But I just kind of wanted to, to show that just quickly. But anyway, I'm going to have to leave it at the sad but true, but I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening. If this reading resonated for Leo placements, please feel free to join, subscribe to my channel. But I want to thank you again so much for everything, for your love, support, devotion, for attending October 31st, for just, you know, your beautiful presence in this world, in my life. I love you guys incredibly. But anyway, I just want to, wish you guys all the best of luck on where this journey may take you. I just really hope for the best in so many ways. Try, to keep going. Try to, feel this sense of power again. You'll always be a Leo. Either way in my eyes, whether you're the extroverted, Leo, or the introverted Leo. But anyway, I just love you guys either way. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful, beautiful journey, and take excellent good care of yourselves.